Hey guys, welcome back to Just an Ordinary Girl. Today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to bread these yummy eggplants, and we have some zucchini squash. I've been loving them like this summer. So what I've done here is I went ahead and I cut them up in little strips, and I'll show you how to do that. And then what you're going to want to do after you get yours cut, first of all, before you even start cutting, make sure you have pans ready. So I have 2 baking sheets, and I put parchment paper down. And then I have another pan that I have one of these. This is just like a cookie baking rack, and you just kind of set it in there. That's going to be for your dripping. This here is for panko crumbs. So I have this brand here, which was extremely good, and then I have this one here, and I'm not sure if there's much difference, but we're going to find out. And then you can use any type of flour you have available. This here is just a sort of a mixture of wheat, whole wheat, and a little bit of white. And over in this pot we have this here flaxseed meal, and for this I use 2 tablespoons of flaxseed. And we're going to do 6 tablespoons of water. And water's got to be a little bit warm. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and mix that now. We're going to just mix this up. And this is the egg wash. Now you want this to sit about 5 minutes. And then that way it'll make a gooey texture, sort of just like eggs. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and slide these 2 dishes out of the way, and I'm going to show you how I cut. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. It's been a long time since I made a cooking video, and I know some of you guys like it, so I thought, hey, why not? This was really, like I said, we've been loving it this year. So normally I cut these into circles this way, but I totally forgot, and I said, oh well, I'm going to just make them like strips, just like the zucchini. And it's been just as delicious. I mean, it'll turn out just as delicious. So what you want to do is cut your ends off first, and then sort of set your eggplant or your zucchini up this way, long ways, and just take your knife and go down in the middle of it. Just so you got like that. So see, now you have 2 pieces. Now you're going to flip those pieces upside down, and you're just going to go right in the middle of it and follow the curve of the plant. Just like that. And then you're just going to see what I did is I followed the curve. Now all you have to do is cut them in half. And then you should end up with strips, sort of like this. And that's all I did. And I will show you the same with the zucchini. Now on here I got to rinse this off a little bit because I am allergic to eggplant, which is, I know, unusual. So I'm trying to do these where I keep things separated and cleaned so I don't break out. Or what was happening a few years ago was it was taking my mouth and making it numb. Okay, so the same process with the zucchini. The only difference with the zucchini now is we're going to cut it into sections of 3. See, 1 like this, 2, 3. Because the zucchini is bigger than it was for the, and then cut it in half. The zucchini is a lot bigger. You see how thick this is? So even at that, I'm going to cut it 1 more time. This one here is not bad, so I'm going to leave it. I'm trying to get them all about this size here. So that's why these ones here have to be cut a little bit more. So when I go ahead and cut them again. So we're going to try to get them about like that, even. Okay, but if you have a skinny eggplant like this, then you'd only cut it like in the middle. But see how it's thick up here? That's why I say do 3, section of 3. Then cut it in the middle. And then the big portion, you can always go ahead and slice one more time. If you think it's okay, then you could leave it. You know, like this here might be okay, but I'll just do it for the video's sake. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so if you're allergic to eggplant like me, you can always just go ahead and pick and do the zucchini first, and then do the eggplant afterwards. This way your utensils and your other things won't get in the way. Okay, so that's been sitting just a minute or so, 2 minutes maybe. Just want to stir it. Give that a little bit more time. And then so for the flour, okay, so now you're going to have your flour in a dish. This here is about 1.5 cups of flour, but depending on how many you're doing, you know, just sort of eyeball it. This is what I do. So I'm going to do garlic powder. Now all I do, I don't measure this. I'm just sprinkling it on. And then we're going to do onion. Same thing, sprinkle it on. And then black pepper. Black pepper gives it a good flavor. Now, same with the panko crumbs. So I'm going to use the rest of this brand. Oops. And I'm probably going to need more. So I'm going to go ahead with this Great Value brand. I think I got this one at Walmart's. And it looks about the same. So yay. And then in here, we're going to also do the garlic. Just sprinkle it on. I kind of go heavily on mine because I like a lot of flavor. Depending on your taste, you know, you can do what you want. And now, I don't put salt in mine, but if you want, you could. Or you could just wait and you can add it at the table. But also, spaghetti sauce has a lot of salt in it and stuff. So, unless you're making your own. But it still is salty because of the tomatoes, you know. Depending on what you're doing. So you might want to, you might not want to. Now all we have to do is get something to mix this up with. Okay, so I grabbed a fork and I'm just gonna stir this right through here. And it's already looking good to me. You know, I just discovered this about a month ago. Yeah, I was like, I want to make a vegan style breaded zucchini, and I didn't know if it would work out, but it truly did, and it turned out so great that I said, man, today when I'm going to make them again, I said, I got to make a video and show you guys so that you guys can try this at home. Okay, now here's what I do. So this here is my egg wash, and this should be about ready. Yeah, you can see how it's starting to come together. Here's how you can test it. So you just take your finger and put it down in, and then you can kind of go like this and rub it, and you'll see, I don't know if you can see that, but you'll see how that coagulates, it sort of comes together. That's sort of just like how egg whites would be. And so what I do is I use one hand for dipping it in the liquids and then the other hand for dry. Okay guys, so I got my honey here because this is too hard to film without using both hands. So make sure your hands are nice and clean. Any rings, you know, are gone. And so here's what I do. So all I have to do is I'm going to do the eggplant first. And I just dip it in like that. Now use one hand for the wet. So that's where you change it over. You dip it in here. This is the wet side. Okay. And then you just sort of beat it off like that. And then you're going to come over here and use this like that. Okay, let's pause that a minute. Okay guys, I was thinking to myself, didn't I use this? So no, I don't use this pan in this recipe. That's for the cauliflower barbecued wings is when I use this. So you don't need this. Okay, so skip that step there because you don't need that for this. So here is what you want to do. You just want to bread, and then you're going to put it on here. Let's do it one more time so we can show them how I do this. So get your flour. Try to keep, like I said, one hand for the wet. That's how I do it. And then that way you don't have to mess around. Wet hand here. That's what I was doing before. It got me screwed up with that tray there. I was like, what is that for? And then I just beat it. This is my same dry hand. See? That way your hands never should get crossed between wet and dry. So I use one hand for both the crumbs and the flour. Here we go. And we have some in here already. And as you go, you guys can add water to your, you see how this mixture is getting really thick? I'm going to go ahead and add a little water. We're going to water it down, the egg mixture. And I'll use warm water for that. Again, this is pretty thick. And it was before too, when I did them before, but it's still a little too thick, more than I'd like. So I'm probably going to add 6 more tablespoons of water. Okay, you can go ahead and pause that. Oops. Okay, guys, so you know how that coagulated and made the egg white. But then I find it's too thick. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some more warm water in there. Just like that. It will still be good because it coagulated. And then just mix it up. I added about 1/2 cup more water. This is warm water. And like I said, it'll be fine because it already came together. So you still want to do it exactly the way I said. 6 tablespoons of water. 2 tablespoons of flaxseed. Right, so 6 tablespoons of water. And then you're going to go ahead and add about another cup of water. Okay, so just continue, you know, this until you're all done. And then once you're all done with it, now my cameraman walked away, so I said that's okay, he could go. Then when you're all done breading, then you're going to want to go ahead and do the eggplant the same way. Yeah. And I'm going to quit filming this portion because, well, I don't want to get my mixtures, you know, ruined because you just seen how I did with one hand. And eventually what will happen is that this will have crumbs in it or flour in it. Well, the flour is okay, but the crumbs, and then this will get wet. So you don't want to do that. Make sure you're using both hands and, you know, one for the dry and one for the liquid. And make sure you have a tray and just stack them nicely. And you'll see what I do with them after. And make sure you set your oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Yep. All right, we'll see you back in a little bit. Okay, guys, I wanted to show you what I have done so far. And I wanted to say I had to add more breadcrumbs in here. So that's what you can do too. So if you have a lot like I have, just add more breadcrumbs, you know, do your seasonings and just continue on. See, this is what I have left. Okay, guys, so now for the eggplant, what I did was a little different. So I didn't need 2 trays for the zucchini. So what I did was I took the parchment paper off of this tray, and I got me a 9x13 pan. I made spaghetti sauce yesterday, so I put a little bit of sauce at the bottom. This is another good brand of sauce here. I'm going to add a little of this into that. This tastes so good with these when they come out. But I'm going to mix a little bit of that because my homemade sauce, I want to save that for on top of spaghetti. So that's what I'm doing with this one. Just sort of mix it up a little. And then I have my flour and my crumbs and my egg wash. I'm just going to go ahead and get this started. Same way as we did the zucchini, you're going to do the same thing. Just dip it in your flour, dip it in the egg wash. See, so what I do is I get a few of them going like this. And I just dump them in there like that. I mean, I'm not real particular. Just get her done type motto, you know? That's how I do it. Get them in there. And like I said, I do these separately because I'm allergic to them. So with your clean hand, you're going to go ahead and dip them. Throw them in the breading. This is my liquid hand, I call it. Now I have to switch hands again. And I'm going to go ahead and pat them down. I just love, love, love this stuff. It's so good. And then just place them directly into the sauce. So normally, like I said, I would do rounds, cut them round, but you can cut them this way too. It's absolutely up to you on how you want to eat it, what shape you make them. You know, we don't really care much around here as long as they're cooked and they're delicious. All right, guys, that's what I'm going to do with the rest of them. Then I'll be back. Okay, so now I have all the eggplant in its dish. I'm going to put this on top. This is nutritional yeast. If you've never seen any of my videos before, this is just vitamins, minerals in there, and it tastes like cheese. So it can taste like cheddar cheese. It's delicious. And I'm just going to sprinkle that all over the top of this dish. And when this dish is done, it's going to taste exactly like eggplant parmesan. Now in this cup, I have a cup of sauce, spaghetti sauce, and then I added the rest water. And we're just going to pour that over top. So when this bakes, it's going to soak in all those flavors. And don't forget, you will still have a little bit of liquid coming out of your eggplant. Same with the zucchini. You'll have a little liquid. That's why you don't need oil or anything when you do in the zucchini. About halfway through your cooking time, you're going to flip these over. You don't have to on this one here. You don't have to flip them. I'm going to do 45 minutes. And we're going to see where we're at that point. I would say that the eggplant will definitely be done. And in about 25 minutes, I will flip these over. I will come back and let you know the exact cooking times. Because like I said, I've made this many times, but I just never really filmed it and put a time to it. So with this, we're going to go ahead and cover it with foil. Now, always, always, always try to put a piece of parchment paper down on top of your pan because you don't want, the aluminum to come off. So just take a piece of parchment paper and sort of lay it down on top, and then go ahead with your foil and cover that over. As you can see, I sort of just pressed it down onto the top, and then we'll go ahead and put the foil on. This is so that the foil doesn't leach out into your food. I never used to care about it, but then I started watching Dr. McDougall back in 2015 when we went vegan, and he stressed that you want to always add parchment paper in between the foil because, well, it's aluminum, and aluminum, you ever hear of aluminum poisoning? That's a really dangerous thing. So you always want to put parchment paper down. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stick these into the oven, and I'll be back when they're ready to be served. Okay, guys, so I had set my timer for 45 minutes, and now that it's down to 17 minutes left, this is what it looks like so far. And I did take one off, and I cut a little tiny piece off just to taste it. That's what it looks like. So they're almost done. They're not quite. So it's definitely going to go the whole 14 minute. I mean, the whole 17 more minutes. But what I like to do is flip them over at this point. And then this way, I feel that it'll get cooked on all ends. Although it seems to me, and this is what I did with the other ones, but it seems to me that it's already getting brown on the bottoms too. So it's not, I guess maybe it is not a necessary step, but for me and my own peace of mind, I'm just going to do them like I've always done them. And I'm just flipping them over just to make sure that the bottoms are getting brown. The top and the bottoms will get browned on the tops. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you get what I'm trying to say. Just flip them over. And we're going to go ahead and continue cooking them for the rest of the time. Stated is about 17 minutes more. Because you kind of want them to be, well, cooked through for sure, but kind of like soft. You know what I mean? Like not too soft. So they'll still have a little tiny bit of crunch, but you don't want them crunchy. You can eat zucchini raw. I don't know if you guys knew that, but you can. But in this dish, I'm not going to. So that's all you got to do, and then put them back in. I just kind of want to show you what I did. So down here is the eggplant parm, and then up here is where I put the zucchini. I have been known to transfer them, so taken from there and down here and back up. But in this case, they're cooking lovely. I'm just going to leave them the way they are. Let them go the 17 more minutes. Okay, guys, I just pulled these out. I had my husband come out and check this because, like I said, I'm allergic. But this is what it looks like. So it's all soaked up, the sauce. It looks delicious. He said it was very good. And then this zucchini's done, front and back. And I'll show you what I do with them. Okay, guys, here's what I did with them. So this is a fresh salad with mushrooms and avocados and our tomatoes out of our garden and some garlic on it, lettuce, and some spinach. And then topped off with, mine has red wine vinegar, my husband has balsamic vinaigrette dressing, and also fresh squeezed lemon. Then here's our zucchini and the breaded zucchini we just did with a little sauce. And then here's my husband's plate. It is our spaghetti with my homemade spaghetti sauce. And in there's tofu, there's mushrooms, there's peppers. This here sauce is just all made with little baby cherry tomatoes and a can of tomato paste, and then garlic and Italian seasonings and a little bit of basil, and also I used a little bit of maple syrup. It's delicious homemade spaghetti. And then here is the Parmesan, and yeah, so that's what's for dinner. And I hope you guys like this video. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Let me know if you like these cooking videos. It's been quite a long time, and I know a lot of you guys have said you liked them, but they can be quite long, and I'm not quite sure if people will actually get through the whole video. So please let me know. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, love yourself and others, and stay tuned for more videos. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.